Hello, grüezi, and welcome back everyone to another review here in Switzerland. For today's review, I have something tiny. In fact, I have the BETAFPV Meteor 75 Pro with the DJI O4 camera system. Now, this is my very first drone that I have so far with the DJI O4 non-pro camera system, or as others would like to call it, the Lite camera system. So in this review, I will first of all talk about what I ordered alongside with this purchase. So it isn't just only this drone. Then we'll do an unboxing, so I'll show you everything that is inside the box with the accessories and of course the drone. And then we'll move onto the drone's specifications. It's gonna be quite interesting. Then putting it on a scale. So we'll see how heavy it is with and without a battery for ready for takeoff weight. And then we'll talk about my setup, my flight setup, so the battery or the batteries I'll be using for my Maiden Flight, followed by the Maiden Flight, which I'll be commenting as well. And then at the very end, you'll come back to me and I'll give you my final thoughts about this tinywhoop 1S drone by BETAFPV, which I'm really looking forward to. Reason for that is I started off pretty much in this FPV hobby with drones of this size. I do believe that a drone like this is a very good beginner drone. I heard, however, different mixed reviews that people said it is way too fragile because of the DJI O4 system, and that you have to be careful that you won't damage or the camera system, because it's probably one of the most expensive things on this drone. However, given the fact it's very lightweight, it has prop guards all around it, and yes, I mean, you can't compare a drone like this to, like, let's say a 3-inch or 5-inch drone. You don't have the inertia, you don't have the momentum, you don't have the power, you don't have the flight times and everything. But still, I think to get a feeling of what FPV could be, I think a drone like this is a very good choice, because it is still quite inexpensive, considering you don't have to pay also a lot for a proper charger, batteries, and the drone itself. And if you want to have probably one of the best image qualities on the FPV market right now, as it stands as of today of making this video, then something with a DJI O4 or even O4 Pro camera system is the way to go if image quality is your thing. So without much further ado, I think we should get right into it, and I'll show you what I ordered alongside with this drone, and I can't wait to give you all the details about it. Now, let's dive right into it. Let's go with the BETAFPV Meteor 75 Pro. So we'll start off with one of the most important things that do usually break the first, and these are propellers. So at the BETAFPV website, you get to pick just one set of propellers in different colors, and I tend to go with a combination or a combo, whatever you want to call it. And I got this for, like, I think it was $8 or $9. So you get 4 different sets, and they come in 4 different colors. So there's a black, there's a white, there's a clear gray, and there's a clear blue version. And then also I purchased a canopy. This one here is in purple. So you get also the whole mounting for the DJI O4 system, so with the screws and the rubber grommets, just in case you need to replace the whole canopy, except for the DJI O4, which is really nice and cool. And what is a drone without batteries? Well, it's a non-flying drone. So I went and purchased a set of 4 1S 550 milliamp lava BETAFPV batteries. Those are with the BT 2.0 connector, and they were quite cheap. So I thought, let's get a second one. So more batteries, more flight time. I think this is a pretty good combination. So I have 8 batteries, all the same capacity, all 1S, 550 milliamp, and I heard really good things about those lava batteries from BETAFPV. That's why I picked 2 sets. And of course, one thing that is very important to do is to charge your batteries. So for that case, I have the older generation Whoopster battery charger. And as well, I have the latest Whoopster, I think it's called the V3, the Whoopster 3 as well. This one does charge slightly faster than this one here, but also it does look a bit more sort of like premium with this plastic casing, and I use it with a really strong power supply for USB, so it's quick charging and they charge very quickly. Also, one cool thing is you can charge them with LiPo high voltage batteries, as well as normal standard LiPos that connect to it. And as well, you have the option to storage charge them, put them in storage mode in case you don't need it. So that is also a very cool thing, and I highly recommend you look one of these up. Now I think it's time to move on and do one of the things that I enjoy the most, and that is open the box and see what's inside. This is always one of the nicest things to do when you get your package. So this one here is covered by this black foam, and then we just take it away. And here is the drone with a bag of accessories. Now this one is rather lightweight when it comes to accessories that you get with it, but still it's nice and cool, but we go into that in just a moment. So, and here is the Meteor 75 Pro. Looks very nice. I really like the color scheme, this black and white with this blue motors around it. I really like it. Let's just take it out of the box, and here it is. Looks very nice, and like I said, it's my very first tinywhoop drone with a DJI O4 camera system. So I'm really looking forward to it and see how the image quality is, because all the tinywhoops I flew in the past, they were analog, and yeah, the image quality wasn't so great. But yeah, that's the drone here. So even what is really interesting for such a small drone, a tinywhoop, the motors are connected by a plug. It's not soldered on the main board. And here you have the BT 2.0 connector, which is less prone to resistance issues like on the old JST plug. So that's very nice. And you just slide in here the battery. You have an opening. You put on the plug under your battery, and off you go. Very nice. Also like the way the motors look like. Those nice blue with the white 45mm gem fan props, 3-bladed. Very nice. I really liked the whole color scheme. The clear gray with the white and the blue and the black. I don't know. There's something about this drone I love. So, and here you have also the dual stack design. On top you have the DJI board, and underneath you have the all-in-one board for the flight controller and ELRS. All right, and let's see what accessories we get with it. First up, you have a set of white Gemfan 45mm 3-bladed props. Then you have a set of spare screws. Then a spare set of rubber grommets for your DJI O4 camera installation. And lastly, one really cool thing, you have this board here and this cable. So it came separately, you just have to plug it in. And if you turn it around, you can see there's a USB-C connector. So this one goes onto your PC. And when you start up Beta Flight and you connect this to your drone, you do all your configuration. So this is actually your connecting cable to plug into your PC in order to do configuration in Beta Flight. And how does it work? It's actually fairly simple. You have here at the very back, up there, you have this plug. So you just plug this one right in and plug in a USB-C cable. And with that, open up Beta Flight and do your configuration for the drone. Very easy, very simple, and this is also to save some weight for the total weight of the drone. Very cool. Now let's talk specifications about the Meteor 75 Pro from BETAFPV. Now first of all, wheelbase wise, it's 80.8 millimeters, which is kind of funny because they call this drone, this tinywhoop, the Meteor 75 Pro. I don't know where they got the name from, but technically it would need to be called Meteor 80 Pro. But it's alright, it's not a problem. So, motor-wise, you have BETAFPV 1102 2200 kV motors with 3-bladed chamfer 45mm props. Next up would be the flight controller. Now, the flight controller is made for the DJI O4 camera system. It has an integrated back, so a back means battery eliminator circuit, and that should prevent from any video transmission while you're flying from dropping out when, let's say, you punch the drone or you fly a bit more extreme, and the voltage drops or sags, or you're almost at depletion of your battery, so you have no video transmission cutouts during your flight, and that is what the back should prevent. So that back is actually a 5-volt 3-amp high performance back. Also, you have 12-amp continuous ESC and 18-amp peak performance. Yeah, so and weight-wise, apparently it is 37.2 grams, but we're gonna put it on a scale later on. And it has the flight controller also, it's called the Matrix 1S 3-in-1 flight controller with an onboard serial ELRS 2.4 GHz receiver. But first of all, I think we're gonna put it on a scale and see how it does. But first, I'm gonna introduce here a side panel with the overview of the specifications of this little tinywhoop drone from BETAFPV, so you can see everything in one place and in detail in case I missed something. Claimed flight time from BETAFPV with a 1S 550 mAh battery would be around 5.5 minutes. I'm not quite sure if that is meant for indoor flying or outdoor flying, but we're gonna take this drone for outdoor flying only. We'll see. But first, let's put it on the scale and see how heavy it really is. And now it's time to put the drone on a scale. Let's see how heavy it is. So it is 38 grams without the battery, so that's not the takeoff weight. And let's put the Lava 1S 550 mAh on top. So we're gonna end up with 53 grams takeoff weight. So the flight setup for today is gonna be very simple this time, nothing all too complicated. It is just simply the drone, so the Meteor 75 Pro, and with it I'll be using the BETAFPV Lava 1S battery, 550 mAh. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. This drone outside with these batteries, can't really wait to actually fly around and see how it is flying such a tiny little drone with such a very good camera system like the DJI O4. Hopefully no nasty surprises. Well, let's move on to the Maiden Flight, which we'll be commenting, and then at the very end he'll come back to me for the final thoughts of this Meteor 75 Pro by BETAFPV. See you there. All right guys, good morning. We are here back in Switzerland for the maiden flight of the Meteor 75 Pro with the Lava 1S 550 mAh battery. The weather today, as you can see, is not perfect. It's quite fresh, so we have about roughly 15 degrees and no sun for today, unfortunately, but we'll take this out for flight and see how it does. Let's get to it. Okay, so we're taking off with the Meteor 75 Pro for the first time on not so ideal conditions weather-wise. It's fairly cold, but here we go. Plus, I haven't flown for over a month. And new radio with the Radiomaster GX12, so it's the first time using this radio as well. First thing you might notice in the video quality is the vibrations, depending on the situation. So, I mean, it's remarkable that for a drone of that size, we have a digital video footage that looks actually quite good. I remember back a few years ago when we had analog drones of that size. The image quality was never, ever as close as good as this one. So yeah, remarkable improvements in over the years, that's for sure. Still, the Jello in the footage, you see the vibrations, the background. There's nothing I can do. I mean, I tried, when I got home from that day, I tried to do a couple of fixes in hopes for it to get resolved. I mean, I tried the drone at home, flying around. I had no Jello in my footage, nothing whatsoever. So I'm not quite sure if it's because of interference or whatever, but yeah, that's what it was. And flight time was also pretty low, as you can see. Yeah, so the other two flights are going to be fairly short as well. And let's move on to those. So, second flight, again, on a cloudy, yeah, I'm trying to go a bit extreme straight away with loops. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, it can do loops, it can do flips and stuff. No problem. But yeah. If you aren't prepared, then you might as well just crash. It's a nice drone, nice nimble drone, flies very nicely. The range is also quite good. Really like it. But now you can see that's my friend and spotter put the drone for me upright so I can continue on flying. So yeah, here you can see it very clearly, the vibrations in the footage, which isn't very nice. Yeah, that's it's a bit unfortunate, but still, the drone flies for its size and weight absolutely fantastic. I like it, and there was just a couple of small breezes of wind. It was okay. I mean, it was meant for me that I'm flying with it outdoors. So the next video, there's just some music, and then I'll give you my final thoughts of this Meteor 75 Pro from BETAFPV. See you there. Welcome back everyone, and it's time for my final conclusion of the BETAFPV Meteor 75 Pro. Now, what do I think? Could I recommend this drone? Well, you saw my flight footage, and given its small size as a tinywhoop, a 1S tinywhoop, it flies exceptionally well outside. I had little to no wind, so the flight performance was quite good. I crashed it once, landed on the top. There was no damage whatsoever. However, you cannot deny the Jello that you saw in the footage. I was flying on a Saturday. Then in the evening, I looked at my footage, and then I tried to make some changes to the cable on the canopy, which is here. I hope you can see it. It's this thick one, like some mentioned, but it didn't work because I went out flying the next day and I tried it out with the changes I did. Unfortunately, the Jello in the footage still remains. So now what I also did, but I couldn't test it out yet, I changed the props to different ones. So I will do a quick follow-up video in the future. I will order some other props as well, and if I have a result that I would say is worth showing what I did to eliminate the Jello in the footage of this Meteor 75 Pro, then I will of course post it. So, but all in all, I think it's a cute little tinywhoop. It flies very nicely outside, outdoors. I was flying it indoors in my home as well. Funnily, I had no Jello in my footage when I was flying indoors. I'm not quite sure if it was because of the temperature or some interference outside, but inside I had zero issues because I looked at my footage and I could not believe that outside it did have vibrations, but inside it did not. But unfortunately, I cannot show you the footage from me flying indoors in my home. So apart from that, temperature wise, it was like 10 to 12 degrees Celsius on that day when I was flying. It was quite early in the morning. It didn't get any better throughout the day. That would be around 50 to 53 degrees Fahrenheit when I was flying with this drone. But still, I think the whole package is there. It's a lot of fun to fly. Perfectly suitable for any beginner because all the replacement parts, they come in fairly cheap. Also, when you need to fix something, everything is pretty much plug and play. So you need to know wiring or soldering knowledge as well. That's all nicely done from BETAFPV. So yeah, the Jello is probably for some, of course, a breaking point when it comes to purchasing the drone. It's not nice to look at, but when you take that into consideration, that you might have Jello in it and you can't fix it straight away when you get right outside of the box, because it's the first impression you get from a product when you use it. How does it behave? How does it fly? How does it look? Does it perform as advertised? And it's kind of a bit of a bummer. Still, the whole package for beginner, even those more advanced in flying, they can have a lot of fun with this drone because you can bash it around. It can take it. Flight time wise, it wasn't so great because due to the temperature as well. But still, those 1S Lava 550 milliamp hour batteries, they're doing a fantastic job. And yeah, I can recommend this drone if you take into consideration the Jello, because when you fix it, it's a blast to fly. It's very lightweight, you can take it anywhere, it's easy to set up as well. You can get going in pretty much no time, and that's what it all is all about in the hobby. You get a product that's pretty much hassle-free to get ready, and then you go out and have fun with it. So tier-wise, I would rate it around A tier, just because the whole package just is there, despite having Jello in the footage. But I will keep on the Jello problem, see if I can fix it, and if I so do, I will do a quick follow-up video to see what I did in order to eliminate the Jello, at least for my drone. So that is all about it. I hope you enjoyed the whole video. If you do so, please remember to like and subscribe. Post on any questions in the comments if you have so. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and more drone reviews are coming up. Some of them small, some of them larger, and I cannot wait to show you what I have in store for you. So thank you all so much. And yeah, link in the description for this drone, of course. And till then, I'll see you in the next video. Happy flying, and bye bye now.